The sun streamed through the gym's floor-to-ceiling windows. Molly McLaren, a vibrant 23-year-old, was engrossed in her workout.
Her headphones pulsed with music, each beat fueling her energy.
Unbeknownst to Molly, her ordinary day was about to take a sinister turn.
Joshua Stimpson, her ex-boyfriend, had been obsessively watching her every move.
This wasn't a casual visit. Joshua had a plan, fueled by rage and a desire for control. As she walked towards her car, a sense of unease washed over her. A quick glance at her rearview mirror revealed Joshua's car parked a few spaces away. Her heart pounded in her chest.
She had been trying to move on, to escape his suffocating grip.
But Joshua was relentless, his obsession a terrifying reality she couldn't outrun. Molly McLaren was a bright light in the lives of those who knew her.
An aspiring fitness blogger, she was passionate about health and wellness, inspiring others with her positive attitude and dedication.
She dreamed of a future filled with love, laughter, and a successful career.
Joshua Stimpson, on the other hand, was a man of hidden darknesses.
Outwardly charming and charismatic, he possessed an undeniable magnetism that drew people in.
He craved control, needing to be the center of attention, and his relationships often followed a predictable pattern of intense infatuation, followed by possessiveness and rage.
Their paths crossed at a local nightclub, a chance encounter that would forever alter the course of their lives.
Joshua, drawn to Molly's infectious energy and radiant beauty, wasted no time in showering her with attention.
He was attentive, charming, and seemed genuinely interested in her life, her dreams, and her aspirations.
Molly, captivated by his charm and the whirlwind romance he orchestrated, fell quickly.
For a time, their relationship seemed like a fairy tale.
But beneath the surface, cracks began to appear. Joshua was a master manipulator, skilled in the art of love bombing, a tactic designed to overwhelm a partner with affection and attention, creating a false sense of intimacy and dependence.
He showered Molly with lavish gifts, romantic getaways, and constant praise, making her feel like the center of his universe.
As their relationship progressed, Joshua's possessiveness intensified.
He became increasingly critical of her clothing choices, her social media presence, and her interactions with other men.
He demanded to know her whereabouts at all times, bombarding her with texts and calls if she didn't respond immediately.
Joshua's controlling behavior extended to Molly's finances and career aspirations.
He discouraged her from pursuing her dream of becoming a fitness blogger, suggesting it was a frivolous pursuit.
He pressured her to spend more time with him, isolating her further from her support system and eroding her sense of self.
Molly, once a vibrant and independent young woman, found herself trapped in a web of manipulation, her life slowly unraveling under Joshua's suffocating control. Her friends and family noticed the change in her, the once confident and carefree young woman now withdrawn and anxious. Unbeknownst to Molly, Joshua had a history of troubling behavior, a pattern of obsession and aggression that had plagued his past relationships.
His ex-girlfriends, each bearing the scars of his emotional abuse, had tried to warn Molly to expose his true nature.
But their attempts were met with resistance, their concerns dismissed as jealousy or bitterness.
Joshua, a master manipulator, had already poisoned the well, convincing Molly that his exes were unstable and vindictive, painting himself as the victim of their lies.
One ex-girlfriend, Emily, had endured a particularly harrowing experience with Joshua.
She had been subjected to relentless harassment, stalking, and threats after she ended their relationship.
Emily had tried to warn Molly, reaching out through social media, desperate to spare her the same pain and fear she had experienced.
But Joshua, ever vigilant, intercepted the messages, further fueling his rage and paranoia.
Blinded by love and manipulated by his charm, Molly chose to ignore the signs, clinging to the belief that she could change him. As the weeks turned into months, Joshua's behavior became increasingly erratic and threatening.
He accused Molly of infidelity, his accusations fueled by paranoia and a deep-seated insecurity.
He hacked into her social media accounts, monitoring her every message, every like, and every comment.
The physical abuse started subtly, a shove disguised as an accident, a grip on her arm that lingered too long, a look in his eyes that sent chills down her spine.
Each incident chipped away at her confidence, her self-worth, her belief in her own perceptions.
The final straw came after a night out with friends, a rare moment of respite for Molly from the suffocating control Joshua had over her life.
He bombarded her with angry texts, accusing her of flirting with other men, of disrespecting him, of betraying his trust.
When she returned home, he was waiting for her, his face contorted in a mask of rage.
He shoved her, pinning her against the wall, his hands around her throat, his eyes blazing with fury.
That night, something inside Molly snapped. She knew she had to get away from him, that her life depended on it. Witnesses would later recall the scene with a chilling clarity. They remembered the sudden eruption of violence, the way Joshua, consumed by rage, lunged at Molly, a knife glinting in his hand. He was on her, his voice a menacing growl, his words a torrent of accusations and threats. Her heart leaped into her throat, the familiar fear sending a jolt of adrenaline through her system. As Molly walked to her car, headphones still in, lost in her thoughts, she noticed him, a dark figure emerging from the shadows. He saw her car parked in the gym's lot, and a cold resolve washed over him. He had been monitoring her social media, her phone calls, her every move, his rage simmering beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to erupt. But the sense of dread, the fear that had become a constant companion, lingered at the edge of her awareness. As she worked out, the rhythmic thud of her feet on the treadmill, the clanging of weights, provided a much-needed distraction from the turmoil that had engulfed her life. Seeking solace and a sense of normalcy, Molly returned to the gym, a place where she had always felt strong and empowered. In the aftermath of the tragedy, a chilling portrait emerged of a man consumed by jealousy, obsession, and a need for control.
His history of violence, his pattern of stalking and harassment, all pointed to a deeply disturbed individual.
Joshua's need to control stemmed from a deep-seated fear of abandonment.
Her attempts to assert her independence were perceived as a threat.
The trial gripped the nation, the brutality of the crime sending shockwaves through society.
The defense argued Joshua was suffering from diminished responsibility.
However, the jury rejected this narrative. Joshua Stimpson was sentenced to life in prison. Molly's death sent shockwaves through her community and beyond, sparking a nationwide conversation about domestic violence and stalking. Her family established the Molly McLaren Foundation, dedicated to raising awareness and providing support to those affected by domestic abuse. The foundation educates young people about healthy relationships, the warning signs of abuse, and the importance of seeking help. Molly's legacy lives on through their efforts, a beacon of hope and a reminder that love should never hurt. Her memory is a rallying cry for change. We can create a future where love is a force for good. Molly's story is a tragic reminder that love should never hurt. It is a stark illustration of how quickly a seemingly perfect romance can descend into a nightmare of control, manipulation, and violence.
Love bombing, a common tactic employed by abusers, often disguises itself as grand romantic gestures. Early warning signs of a toxic relationship include excessive jealousy, possessiveness, controlling behavior, isolation from friends and family, constant criticism, and attempts to undermine your self-esteem.
Abusers often exhibit extreme mood swings, shifting from charming and attentive to angry and abusive.
If you recognize any of these signs in your own relationship, it is crucial to reach out for help. Talk to a trusted friend, family member, therapist, or domestic violence hotline.
Documenting instances of abuse, saving text messages, emails, or voicemails can be crucial if you decide to seek legal action. Breaking free from a toxic relationship can be incredibly difficult, but it is essential for your safety and well-being. Molly's tragic story serves as a poignant call for action, a reminder that we must all play a role in ending the epidemic of domestic violence. By raising awareness, challenging societal norms that perpetuate gender-based violence, and providing support to victims, we can create a world where love is not a weapon, but a source of strength and joy. Education is paramount. By teaching young people about healthy relationships, consent, and the warning signs of abuse, we can empower them to make informed choices and to recognize the red flags early on. Support systems are crucial for victims of domestic violence. This includes access to safe housing, counseling, legal aid, and financial assistance. Challenging societal norms that perpetuate gender-based violence is essential. This includes addressing harmful stereotypes, promoting gender equality, and creating a culture of respect and consent. Molly McLaren's legacy lives on in the countless lives that have been touched by her story. By honoring her memory through action, by speaking out against abuse, and by supporting victims, we can create a brighter future, a future where love is a force for good, a source of strength and a celebration of life.